There you are, Mr. Bates. It's in. Came this morning.
It said it would, which isn't quite the same thing. Hello? I could have posted that for you.
Well, I prefer to do it myself.
I'll wait outside.
What are you doing? If you must know, I'm trying to find some space on top of the cupboard to make life easier. So what's in it then?
What?
A bleeding great packing case that weighs a ton, that's what.
Can't you just leave it?
No, I can't. And you'll tell me right now.
Anything interesting?
Not particularly. It's from Evelyn Napier. You met him with the Delta Fields last November at Doncaster races.
Is that Lord Brangson's boy?
It is.
Do you like him?
I don't dislike him.
And what's he writing about?
Nothing much. He's out with the York and Ainsty next week. The meet is at Downton. He wants some tea when he's up here.
Where's he staying? With friends?
He says he's found a pub that caters for hunting.
Well, we can improve on that. He must come here. He can send the horses up early if he wants.
He'll know why you're asking him.
I can't think what you mean. His mother's a friend of mine. She'll be pleased at the idea.
Not very pleased. She's dead.
All the more reason, then. You can write a note, too, and put it in with mine.
Should I tell him about your friendship with his late mother?
I'm sure you, of all people, can compose a letter to a young man without any help from me.
How much did it cost?
Every penny I'd saved. Oh, almost.
And is this the mystery lover?
Well, I've been taking a correspondence course in typing and shorthand. That's what was in the envelopes.
Are you any good?
Yes. Well, I am, actually.
Her ladyship wants the fawn skirt Lady Mary never wears. The seamstress is going to fit it to Lady Sybil, but I can't find it.
I'll come in a minute.
They're waiting now.
1 minute. I'm just changing my cap and apron. Have you told anyone? What did your parents say?
Well, I can't tell them till I've got a job. Dad will think I'm a fool to leave a good place, and Mum will say I'm getting above myself, but I don't believe that.
Nor do I.
It's not of my doing. It's old Mary's own work. But I think we should encourage it.
Brangsom's a dull dog, but I don't suppose that matters.
Did you know his wife had died?
He only ever talks about racing.
Cora is right. Mary won't take Matthew Crawley, so we'd better get her settled before the bloom is quite gone off the rose.
Is the family an old one?
Older than yours, I imagine.
Old enough.
And there's plenty of money.
Really?
Mamma, you've already looked him up in the stud books and made inquiries about the fortune. Don't pretend otherwise. Are you afraid someone will think you're American if you speak openly?
I doubt it'll come to that.
Shall I ring for tea?
No, not for me. I'm eating Cripps at 5. I'll see you at dinner.
You don't seem very pleased.
I'm pleased. It's not brilliant, but I'm pleased.
So?
I don't want Robert to use a marriage as an excuse to stop fighting for Mary's inheritance.
It won't make any difference. I don't think he has the slightest intention of fighting as it is. The price of saving Downton is to accept Matthew Crawley as his heir.
What about you?
I don't dislike Matthew. In fact, I rather admire him.
Is that sufficient reason to give him your money?
Well, of course not.
Then there's nothing more to be said. Are we going to have tea or not?
Hello. I'd offer you a lift if I could.
It was you I was coming to see.
Oh, and your timing is matchless. I've just got off the train.
The other day at dinner, Cousin Isabel was saying you wanted to see some of the local churches.
She's right, I do. I want to know more about the county generally if I'm to live here.
Well, I thought I might show you a few of the nearer ones. We could take a picnic and make an outing of it.
That's very kind.
Nonsense. I'll enjoy it. It's too long since I played the tourist.
Well, it would have to be a Saturday. The churches work on Sunday and I work all the weekdays.
Then Saturday it is. I'll get Lynch to sort out the governor's cart and I'll pick you up at about 11.
Get back, please.
They were trying to hide it, so I knew it was wrong.
Where's Gwen now?
In the dining room with Anna, they'll be finishing.
Then I'll wait.
With all due respect, Mr. Carson, Gwen is under my jurisdiction.
Indeed she is, Mrs. Hughes, and I have no intention of usurping your authority. I merely want to get to the bottom of it.
Why shouldn't Gwen have a typewriter if she wants one?
Mind your own business.
What's that doing here?
Ah, Gwen, come in.
Why is that down here? Who's been in my room? They had no right.
See here. In the first place, none of the rooms in this house belong to you. And in the second, I am in charge of your welfare, and that gives me every right.
This is you, isn't it?
All we want is to know what Gwen wants with a typewriter and why she feels the need to keep it secret.
She wants to keep it private, not secret. There's a difference.
Oh, man.
I've done nothing to be ashamed of. I've bought a typewriter and I've taken a postal course in shorthand. I'm not aware that either of these actions is illegal.
Will you tell us why? Preferably without any more cheek.
Because I want to leave service. I want to be a secretary.
You want to leave service?
What's wrong with being in service?
Nothing's wrong with it. And there's nothing wrong with mending roads neither. But it's not what I want to do.
I should remind you that there are plenty of young girls who will be glad of a position in this house.
And when I hand in my notice, I shall be happy to think one of them will be taking my place.
What makes you think we'll wait till then?
Are you hiring and sacking now, Miss O'Brien? I thought that lay with Mr. Carson and Mrs. Hughes.
Enough of this. I'm going to ring the dressing gong, and we'll have no more talk of this tonight.
Can I have my machine back now?
Very well, but I wish I was sure you know what you're doing.
Daisy, what's happened to you? I said you could go for a drink of water, not a trip up the Nile.
Which churches will you show him?
I can't decide. Kirby, possibly. Or perhaps Easingwold.
You don't think you're being a bit obvious?
Coming from you, that's rich. There was a letter from Mr. Napier in the Evening Post.
Oh, did he accept?
Not yet.
Perhaps he thought it was too obvious.
Apparently, he's bringing a friend with him, an attaché at the Turkish embassy, a Mr. Kamal Pamuk. He's the son of one of the Sultan's ministers, and he's here for the Albanian talks.
What's that?
To create an independent Albania. Don't you read the papers?
I'm too busy living a life.
Since Turkey's signature is vital, Mr. Napier's been given the job of keeping him happy until the conference begins, and he's eager to try an English hunt. I shall invite this Mr. Pamuk to stay here as well. Who knows? A little hospitality in an English house may make all the difference to the outcome. And Mary, you will ride out with them.
Oh, Mamma, must I? My boots are at the menders and I haven't ridden for weeks.
Anna, please see that Lady Mary is fully equipped to go hunting.
Yes, your ladyship.
Yes? I saw this advertisement for a limp corrector. Yes? What does it do exactly?
It corrects limps.
Does it work?
Well, as I make it and I advertise it, is it likely I'd say no?
Could I see one?
Here we are. You adjust this to the right height to minimise the limp. You tighten these gradually, as tight as you can stand, and as the legs straighten, the foot lowers to the floor. Can't say it's going to be easy, and you can't slack. Every day, all day, if you mean business.
All right. How much?
She asks if we can both dine on Saturday. There are 2 young men staying, so you won't be so outnumbered for once.
What men?
A Turkish diplomat called something I can't read, and Lord Branksom's charming son, who's to be flung at Mary, presumably.
When it comes to Cousin Mary, she's quite capable of doing her own flinging, I assure you.
Oh, open the door, can you? Oh, I couldn't find her breeches anywhere, so I asked Mr. Bates, and he looked among his lordship's riding clothes. There they were. I only hope to God I've got everything. Hat I'll do here. Gloves and cup are in the hall. Gwen? Whatever's the matter? Hey, come on, sit down. Hey?
What's up?
Oh, I'm just being silly. You should get that brushed.
You won't be up for another half an hour now. What is it?
I suppose I've just realised that it's not going to happen.
What isn't?
Oh, none of it. I'm not going to be a secretary. I'm not going to leave service. I doubt I'll leave here before I'm 60.
Hey, what's all this?
Oh, you saw their faces. Weren't they right? Oh, look at me. I'm the daughter of a farmhand. I'm lucky to be a maid. I was born with nothing and I'll die with nothing.
Don't talk like that. You can change your life if you want to. Sometimes you have to be hard on yourself, but you can change it completely, I know.
Mr. Bates? Are you all right?
Take her upstairs. Dry her off.
Come on, Gwen. Hey?
Mr. Bates, what's the matter?
Nothing, not a thing, I'm fine.
Let me help you.
I'm perfectly all right, thank you, Mrs. Hughes.
Are you sure? You're as white as a sheet.
That's my wonderful complexion, inherited from my Irish mother.
Take it, don't.
Can you see them, my lady?
Not yet. Oh, wait a minute. Here's Mr. Napier. I was beginning to give up on you. We're moving off.
We were fools not to accept your mother's invitation and send the horses down early. As it is, my groom only got here an hour or two ago. My mount's as jumpy as a dev at her first ball.
What about Mr. Pamuk? I gather if he takes a tumble, you'll be endangering world peace.
Don't worry about Kamal. He knows what he's doing on a horse.
Well, where is he?
Fussing. He's rather a dandy.
And I can see him now, a funny little foreigner with a wide, toothy grin and hair reeking of pomade.
I wouldn't quite say that. Here he is now. Lady Mary Crawley, I presume.
You presume, right?
Sorry to be so dishevelled. We've been on a train since dawn and we had to change in a shed.
You don't look dishevelled to me. Lynch, you don't have to stay with me.
But His Lordship asked me to.
It's a waste of your day. Help Mr. Napier's man get their things back to the house.
His Lordship said.
Don't worry.
Because of the crowds.
I'll look after her. We'll make it our business to keep her from harm, I promise.
I hope the day is living up to your expectations.
It's exceeding them in every way.
And where's Mr. Napier?
He's gone over the bridge, look.
Oh.
And what about you? Will you follow him? Or will you come over the jump with me?
Oh, I was never much one for going round by the road.
Stay by me and we'll take it together.
I wish we could talk a little more about you. What was it like, growing up in Manchester?
Does it say anything about the side aisles?
The side aisles were added in the 14th century by Bishop Richard de Warren.
Yes, you can see that in the treatment of the stone.
It's wonderful to think of all those men and women worshipping together through the centuries, isn't it? Dreaming and hoping. Much as we do, I suppose.
Was the screen a Cromwell casualty?
I dare say.
Wonder how Mary's getting on.
All right, I should think. Why?
I just wonder. Will she stay with the hunt the whole day?
Oh, you know Mary. She likes to be in at the kill.
Where should we go next?
Not home.
Oh, not yet. We've time for one more, at least, before we lose the light.
I underestimated your enthusiasm.
Come on.
Is that one mine?
Home is the hunter, home from the hill. Heavens, you have been in the wars.
Papa, this is Mr. Pamuk, my father, Lord Grantham.
How'd you do, my lord?
Did you have a good day?
Couldn't have been better.
This is Thomas, sir. He'll be looking after you.
You remember Mr. Napier?
Of course. How are you?
So kind of you to have us, Lady Grantham.
And this is Mr. Pamuk.
How do you do?
My lady.
Well, what would you like?
Just baths. We're worn out.
Your cases are upstairs, sir. If you'd like to follow me.
Yes.
Well, I hope Mary hasn't left you too exhausted, Mr. Napier.
It doesn't look Turkish at all. Well, he doesn't look like any Englishman I've ever met. Worse luck. I think he's beautiful.
Is there some crisis of which I am unaware?
No, Mr. Carson.
I cannot think of another reason why you should congregate here.
No, Mr. Carson.
Have you seen our visitor? Quite a treat for the ladies.
Indeed, my lord.
Are they settled in all right?
I believe so. Mr. Napier's valet seems a competent fellow, and Thomas knows what he's doing.
Why doesn't the gorgeous Turk have his own chap?
Apparently his man speaks no English, so Mr. Pamuk decided to leave him in London.
Oh, probably very wise. I hope Thomas doesn't mind.
Oh, you know Thomas, my lord. He has to have a grumble. But I gather he cheered up when he saw the gentleman.
Bates, is anything wrong?
Nothing at all, my lord. Is that strap too tight?
Shall I adjust it, sir?
No. I'm relying on you to see that I go downstairs properly dressed.
Don't worry, sir. I've got sharp eyes for anything out of order.
Then I put myself entirely in your hands.
You do right, sir. I should love to visit Turkey.
Yes, it's a wonderful country. My man always does this, can you?
I'm very attracted to the Turkish culture.
Then I hope your chance will come to something. You forget yourself!
I'm sorry, sir.
That will teach you to believe what the English say about foreigners. They ought to report you.
I think you must have...
I mistook nothing. But I will make you an offer. Later tonight, I may need some help with the geography of the house.
The geography?
Yes. I'm not sure yet, but I may wish to pay someone a visit. If that is the case, you will help me. And I will say nothing of your behavior.
I don't understand. Why would she want to be a secretary?
She wants a different life.
But why? I should far prefer to be a maid in a large and pleasant house than work from dawn till dusk in a cramped and gloomy office. Don't you agree, Carson?
I do, my lady.
Why are we talking about this? What does it matter?
It matters that the people that live and work here are content.
Of course. We should be helping Gwen if that's what she wants.
I agree. Surely we must all encourage those less fortunate to improve their lot where they can.
Not if it isn't in their best interests.
Isn't the maid a better judge of that than we are?
What do you say, Mr. Pamuk? Should our housemaid be kept enslaved or forced out into the world?
Why are you English so curious about other people's lives? If she wishes to leave and the law permits it, then let her go.
Well, perhaps the law should not permit it. For the common good.
So you hanker for the days of serfdom?
I hanker for a simpler world. Is that a crime?
I do dream of a simpler world, as long as we can keep our trains and our dentistry.
I wish I shared your enthusiasm. Our dentist is horrid.
When will I go to him, then?
Oh, he treated all of us when we were children. You know how the English are about these things.
Your father had some success at the Grand National.
Yes, indeed, a second.
Well, the next time you feel a twinge, you must come to Istanbul.
Wouldn't the journey be painful?
Sometimes we must endure a little pain in order to achieve satisfaction.
Lady Mary rode very well today.
Why did you send Lynch back?
I had my champions to left and right. It was enough.
Did you enjoy the hunt today, Mr. Napier? Mary said you had a tremendous run.
It was like something out of a Trollope novel.
And what about you, Mr. Pamuk? Was your day successful?
Oh, yes, Lady Grantham. I can hardly remember a better one.
Mary has more suitors tonight than the Princess Aurora.
Will she judge them sensibly?
No one's sensible at her age, nor should they be. That's our role.
Well, if you'll excuse me. Thank you. Was it fun to be back in the saddle?
Yes, although I'll pay for it tomorrow.
Would you ever come out with me? Or aren't we friends enough for that?
Oh, I think it might be.
That run reminded me of a day last month up in Cheshire. We came down the side of a hill.
Excuse me.
It seems we must brush up on our powers of fascination.
I was a fool to bring him here.
Don't you like him?
Well, I like him very much. But so does everyone else, unfortunately. Excuse me.
Hope I didn't wear you out today.
Oh, not at all. I enjoyed it. We must do it again.
Next time, let's take my mother. She was so jealous, she made me promise she could come with us.
Of course. How nice that would be.
What is it?
Is this picture really Della Francesca?
I think so. The second Earl brought back several paintings from his group.
Mr. Pamuk,
Let me come to you tonight, please.
I can't think what I have said that has led you to believe...
I don't know when we'll meet again, so let it be tonight.
Mr. Pamuk, I will not repeat your words to my father, since I should hate to see you cast out into the darkness. But can we agree to consider them unsaid? Now, if you'll excuse me, I shall rejoin my mother and sisters. Be mad.
I am in the grip of madness.
Please leave at once, or
On what?
I'll scream.
No, you won't.
I'll ring the bell then.
And who's on duty now, the hall boy? Will you really let him find a man in your bedroom? What a story.
Do you have any idea what you're asking? I'd be ruined if they even knew we'd had this conversation, let alone if...
What? Don't worry. You can still be a virgin for your husband.
Heavens, is this a proposal?
Alas, no, I don't think our union would please your family.
I'm afraid not.
Nor mine. But a little imagination. You wouldn't be the first.
You and my parents have something in common.
No?
You believe I'm much more of a rebel than I am. Now, please, go. I'm not what you think I am. If it's my mistake, if I've led you on, I'm sorry, but I'm not.
You are just what I think you are.
No, I've never done anything.
Of course not. One look at you would tell me that. Oh, my darling.
Won't it hurt? Is it safe?
Trust me.
He's dead. No, I'm sure he's dead.
But how?
We were together and he's dead.
In your room? We've got to get him back to his own bed.
How? It's in the bachelor's corridor, miles from my room.
Or could we manage it between us?
He weighs a ton. I can hardly shift him at all. We'll need at least one other. What about Bates?
He couldn't lift him. William can't keep a secret. And Thomas wouldn't try to.
We've got to do something.
Then who else has as much to lose as you if it ever gets out?
Not Papa. Please don't say Papa. I couldn't bear the way he'd look at me.
No. Not his lordship.
I don't know. A heart attack, I suppose, or a stroke, or he was alive and suddenly he cried out and then he was dead.
But why was he here at all? Did he force himself on you? Well, we can talk about that later. Now, we must decide what to do for the best.
There's only one thing we can do.
I couldn't. It's not possible.
If you don't, we will figure out a scandal of such magnitude it will never be forgotten until long after we're both dead. I'll be ruined, Mamma. Ruined and notorious. A laughingstock, a social pariah. Is that what you want for your eldest daughter? Is it what you want for the family?
We must cover him up. Hurry, the servants will be up soon.
We've got time.
Arthur!
I can't make his eyes stay shut.
Leave that and come away.
He was so beautiful.
Her ladyship's right. We must get back to our rooms.
I feel now that I can never forgive what you have put me through this night. I hope in time I will come to be more merciful. But I doubt it.
You won't tell Papa.
Since it would probably kill him and certainly ruin his life, I will not. But I keep the secret for his sake, not for yours.
Yes, Mama.
Anna, I will not insult you by asking that you also conceal Lady Mary's shame. Let us go.
I imagine you've heard what's happened.
Yes.
Terrible thing. Awful. Ghastly for your parents. I don't suppose I shall ever make it up to them.
But it wasn't your fault.
Well, I brought him here. If it isn't my fault, whose is it? I was wondering if you might show me the gardens before I go. We could get some fresh air.
I won't, if you'll forgive me. I ought to stay and help Mama.
Of course. I'm so sorry about all this. I've told your father I'll deal with the embassy. There won't be any more annoyance for you.
Thank you.
Actually, he was a terribly nice fellow. I wish I could have known him better. I took him on as a duty, but I liked him more and more the longer I knew him. Perhaps you saw his qualities for yourself. Which obviously, you did.
I had an uncle who went like that. Finished his cocoa, closed his book, and fell back dead on the pillow.
I don't think Mr. Pamuk bothered with cocoa much.
Oh, books. He had other interests.
I meant he can go just like that, with no reason.
Well, that's why you should treat every day as if it were your last.
Well, we couldn't criticise Mr. Pamuk where that's concerned.
What do you mean?
Nothing. Careful with that.
God, are you busy? Your ladyship. I saw this. It came out yesterday, look. It's for a secretary at a new firm in Thirsk. See? What? I don't understand. How did you know that you wanted to leave? Carson to my father. And you don't mind? Why should I? I think it's terrific that people make their own lives. Especially women. Write to them today and name me as your reference. I can give it without ever specifying precisely what your work here has been. Milady. Thank you.
Lady Grantham! I've come to say goodbye. They're bringing the car round to take me to the station.
Have you said goodbye to Mary?
I have.
Will we be seeing you here again?
Nothing would give me more pleasure, but I'm afraid I'm a little busy at the moment and... I wonder if I might risk embarrassing you, because I should like to make myself clear. The truth is, Lady Grantham, I am not a vain man. I do not consider myself a very interesting person. But I feel it's important that my future wife should think me so. A woman who finds me boring could never love me, and I believe marriage should be based on love. At least at the start.
Thank you for your faith in me, Mr. Napier. Your instincts do you credit. Good luck to you.
Did Mr. Napier get off all right?
He did, my lord.
And poor Mr. Pamuk has been taken care of.
We got Graspies from Thirsk in the end. They're very good and they didn't mind coming out on a Sunday.
Is everyone all right downstairs?
Well, you know, he was a handsome stranger from foreign parts one minute and the next he was as dead as a doornail. It's bound to be a shock.
Of course. Upstairs or down. It's been horrid for the ladies. And for the female staff, I expect.
It's particularly hard on the younger maids.
Indeed. Don't let the footman be too coarse in front of them. Thomas likes to show off, but we must have a care for feminine sensibilities. They are finer and more fragile than our own.
Mr. Bates, I am going to have to insist that you tell me what is the matter.
I thought it was for Mr. Carson to give me orders.
Mr. Carson's no better than any other man when it comes to illness. Now tell me what it is and I'll see what I can do.
It's nothing, truly. I've twisted my bad leg and walked on it too soon. It'll be fine in a day or two.
Well, if it isn't, I'm sending for the doctor.
The Dowager Countess.
Oh, my dears. Is it really true? I can't believe it. Last night, he looked so well. Of course, would happen to a foreigner. It's typical.
Don't be ridiculous.
I'm not being ridiculous. No Englishman would dream of dying in someone else's house. Especially someone they didn't even know.
Oh, Granny, even the English aren't in control of everything.
Well, I hope we're in control of something, if only ourselves.
But we're not. Don't you see that? We're not in control of anything at all.
Edith, go and tell Mary to come back at once and apologize to her grandmother.
No, leave her alone. She's had a shock. We all have. Just let her rest. No, just the ticket. Nanny always said sweet tea was the thing for frayed nerves. So why it has to be sweet, I couldn't tell you.
What did you mean? Mr. Pamuk lived each day as if it were his last.
What I said?
Well, how did you know?
Can't keep William waiting. Going away.
I'll be asking the same question later, so you better have an answer ready.
Daisy, where have you hidden the flower? I can't see it anywhere.
It's just there, Mrs. Patmore.
Well, fetch it to me then. Oh, you're all in a daze today.
You think we should have gone up there? To see how they are?
I sent a note, but I thought I'd be in the way. Why?
I thought Mary was rather struck with him last night, didn't you?
Well, it must have been frightful for all of them. But there it is. In the midst of life, we are in death.
I suppose Mr. Napier will have to manage everything.
I suppose he will.
We all thought him a very nice gentleman.
Yes, he is nice.
We will be seeing a lot of him.
I don't expect so, no.
Because we rather hoped Lady Mary might have taken a shine to him.
Seems not.
Oh, well. There are plenty more fish in the sea than ever came out of it.
Are you looking for something?
Lady Mary? I just wanted to make sure the room had been tidied up after the people had left.
Life can be terribly unfair, can't it?
It certainly can.
Everything seems so golden one minute, then turns to ashes the next. Can I ask you a question, Carson? Have you ever felt your life was somehow slipping away, and there was nothing you could do to stop it?
I think everyone feels that at one time or another.
The odd thing is, I feel, for the first time really, I understand what it is to be happy. It's just I know that I won't be.
Don't say that, my lady. Don't raise the white flag quite yet. You'll still be mistress of Downton. Old Lady Grantham hasn't given up the fight, not by a long chalk.
Oh, that? I wasn't even thinking about that.
And if I may say so, my lady, you're still very young.
Am I? I don't feel it.
We're all behind you, my lady. The staff. We're all on your side.
Thank you, Carson. You've always been so kind to me. Always. From when I was quite a little girl. Why is that?
Even a butler has his favourites, my lady.
Does he? I'm glad.
Lady Mary? Oh, my lady, I thought...
Carson and I were just making sure that everything was shipshape and Bristol fashion. And it is. Good night, Carson.
Good night, my lady.
Of all the men on earth, I mean, he looked so fit. Dr. Clarkson said it was a heart attack. Did you see any signs?
Didn't have much of a chance to study the gentleman.
You don't suppose there's anything sinister in it, do you? Every day the papers warn us of German spies, and they did say his presence was essential for peace in Albania.
I doubt it, my lord. Anyone wanting to poison his food would have to get past Mrs. Patmore.
Blimey, that's a thought. Unless, of course, she's a spy herself. I wish you'd tell me what's wrong, Bates. You'll be in no trouble. I only want to help.
I know that, your lordship, and I am grateful, truly, but there is nothing I need help with.
Good morning, Mrs. Hughes.
Good morning, my lord.
I wonder if you...
Now, will you kindly explain what in heaven is going on?
I'm perfectly well, Mrs. Hughes. A bit stiff, that's all.
Just so long as you know, I'm not leaving until you tell me.
I hope you have a strong stomach.
Oh, God.
Cousin Mary?
Hello. Are we expecting you?
No, but I wanted to see you. I looked for you yesterday at church.
I wasn't feeling up to it. None of us were.
Must have been a horrible shot.
Yes,
And he seemed a nice fellow.
he was. A very nice fellow.
So, if there's anything I can do, please ask.
There isn't. But thank you.
Well, here goes.
Do you not think we ought to say a few words?
What? Good riddance?
That and your promise.
Very well. I promise I will never again try to cure myself. I will spend my life happily as the butt of others' jokes, and I will never mind them.
We all carry scars, Mr. Bates, inside or out. You're no different to the rest of us, remember that?
I will try to. That I do promise.
Good riddance.
So he definitely went in,
Saw him walk through the door.
but you don't know if he went back to his own room.
Yes, I do, because I was the one who found him there the next day.
What I mean is, you don't know if he went back under his own steam.
Suppose not, but how else would he have done it?
That's what they call the big question.
I don't want to get in any trouble over this.
Don't worry, you won't. Your secret's safe with me.